The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. Shalom, shalom, come on in.
The East is where we're from.
Shalom, shalom.
The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC,
Blessings,
the
blessings.
Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape, we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went.
Come on.
The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be, we be. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. From Panama, the North American Indians.
Blessings, blessings.
The Dominicans, the highest gathering Israel.
That's right, brothers and sisters. The Most High's gather in Israel. I'm Elder Rawchaa here. Got words running into each other right now. And Elder Rawchaa here with Elder Lawya. And we would both like to wish you, the whole Gather of Christ Church family would like to wish you a blessed Purim. Boy, did we have a blessed gathering last night amongst the Philadelphia congregation. I would like to thank the brothers and especially the sisters for working to make that particular memorial a blessed gathering. Sisters put gifts together. We gave gifts to one another. The church is so charitable and loving, and the sisters made the environment there so inviting. Thank you, sisters in this church, for all you do in making the church what it is. Okay? Working behind the scenes. So if we're going to talk about the blessed sister Esther during this time as a memorial, we have to also extend that to the sisters who are walking in the path of the virtuous, like Sister Esther. Shalom, shalom, our topic today, kings and queens. But of course, we're going into the academy, so I have to give you all some news updates concerning what's going on in the earth. Folks, they're not telling us exactly what's happening, so I thought that running into this coming Sunday's Hebrew and Bible Academy starting this Sunday, that we would give you some insight of what's going on in the earth running into that particular 3-month Bible phenomenon, which is our academy. Do me a favor, hit the like button for me. All right? Without any further ado, let me bring in Elder Lawya here. Let's see, where are you, Elder Lawya? Right here. How you doing, Lawman?
Shalom, sir. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahia. It was a blessed evening to see you all and Elder Rawchaa and the family and all that came out last night in the bad weather. It was a nice time amongst the saints, right?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And again, we want to extend our thank yous to all those who were involved in the event, the preparation, the food, the gifts, everything. Everything was wonderful. So again, we thank you.
Yeah, of course, you know, I'm getting a lot of positive feedback through the audience who witnessed the class last night. It was set up very nicely as far as the particular lesson in of itself, explaining a few dynamics that most didn't know concerning what happened with the story of Esther. Right, Vashti, the wife of the king, before Esther became queen, and all that. So I'm going to touch on that a little later, right? And Elder Lawya, just for the sake of time, we're going to start setting these particular weekly broadcasts with bullet points, right? So if we have bullet points with timestamps, right? Bullet points with timestamps we can get through without running into so many different topics. What I would like to do is have each particular broadcast drive home whatever topic we are discussing that particular evening without any diversion. So I set up a little bullet point platform, right? Hold on one second. Let me see here. Let me get this together here for you all. So I set up a little bullet point here, right? And what I'll do is when it's time to start every broadcast, I'll start it off with a bullet point, and we'll discuss the research that was made behind this particular bullet point, right? And we have two separate bullet points tonight. Bullet point 1, forgers of lies according to the scripture. So I know we got that scripture in tow. And our second bullet point I'll pull up a little later. Kings makes queens. And
Yes, sir.
It's going to be interesting when I unpack that particular one. But before we go into it, this is how we're going to do it to make it more efficient when it comes to our broadcast, to keep the topics within the guardrails so that our discussions are complete and our interaction with the audience. All right. So yes.
Absolutely.
All right. So I did it that way. And before I dive into the topics of how we discuss this, Zoom is also available, and I'll give that out there in one moment. I'll give the Zoom out for the brothers and sisters in one moment. Right. But first and foremost, I will, hold on, let me get this out of the way. For some reason, I'm popping up all over the place. Yeah, right there. I would like to say, I thank the Most High that we have a brand new 12 tribes of Israel calendar, right? Because, of course, the new year really starts in the spring. According to the Most High, according to what we observe annually, there's no difference between December 31st and January 1st. So there is no new year January the 1st, okay? The new time comes in during the spring. And of course, we have the calendar, which begins in the true new year, according to the Almighty, leading into the Passover, so on and or so on. All right? Thank you, Elder Dell, and I need you to put that particular link in as we go through it. The pre-orders are up for people to pre-order, and once the stock comes in, we'll ship it out according to those who have actually pre-ordered, and we'll ship it out in the order you've pre-ordered. Okay? And of course, the theme for this particular calendar is the 12 tribes of Israel. And it, look how beautiful that is. Popping off. It's popping off the screen. The detail. Right? The ancient detail. Right? It looks like that scroll is actually popping off the screen. Breaking down the 12 tribes of Israel according to the migration predominantly to the west, where the 10 tribes went. Australia and the indigenous brothers and sisters on this side of the world, the diaspora on this side of the world. It's not including Africa and other places that we are scattered in number, but all in all, this is the 12 tribes chart for the diaspora, and it's in this particular calendar. The theme is the 12 tribes of Israel, and it gives you the scriptures to break down each tribe. Wonderful, right? As you can see what we do with the 12 lost tribes found. Look at the detail here. Scriptures to back up everything we're saying. Anyone try to claim that we're not the lost tribes of Israel, refer them to these scriptures, okay? And if they tell you it doesn't matter, then they're telling you the Bible doesn't matter. Okay? Don't be a hypocrite. Don't be contradicting here. Don't tell us we must follow the Bible, but when we bring you details concerning God's people in the Bible, you retort with, it doesn't matter. Well, that doesn't make any sense. If the Most High put this in the scripture so that the lost tribes could be found, which is a part of Christ's, which is a key point of Christ's mission, to gather the tribes back together again. We also have the holy days set up in here so you'll be able to follow the calendar, use it as a regular calendar, as well as understand where the holy days fall in for the what? The annual 364-day year. It's quite that simple. And we give you what? We also give you a chart. In the chart, it shows you how the annual calendar was set up from the beginning, from the heavenlies, from the heavenly throne. Okay? This is how time is actually calculated in the stars, the heavenly tables. So this is how God have kept time from the beginning for us. And again, the Bible tells us in the book of Daniel 7:25, they would think to change times and laws. Have they changed time? No. Because the Most High have continued to what? Have time go on regardless of what man has been doing down here. The Most High put his people, the children of Israel, back on his time. Following the commandments, bringing back God's people, teaching the true civility and morality of the word, while the Most High have engaged us even more and have revealed the time that was lost due to sin. And we're here to introduce this back to the world so that they can get back on time, because that time is on its way back here. And time is running out. This calendar is so important. So you got scriptures and everything to break down what we're talking about. And it starts off with Judah. So on and on and on. And of course, we made it the calendar very clear to let you know when the holy days come in according to sundown. Therefore, no one can come in afterward and say, well, the calendar is one day off. They're liars. It's not one day off. Okay? So what we did was, and it's deep that, how many years our people been following the pagan calendar? Not one person came out and said that Esau's calendar is off. They wait till the Most High give us the insight to bring the truth of the calendar to only nitpick one day. That's to show you how evil and wicked people are. They wouldn't know the time according to the Sabbath if the Most High didn't put it on the gathering of Christ Church to research it, pray upon it, and bring it forth to the world, and it cannot be disputed. But I'm going to show you how evil people are. Instead of giving credit, let me tell you, if it was off one day, you would still have to give us what? You would have to give us the credit in the Spirit of the Almighty for having the patience to get us that close, that exact. So if somebody can look at a calendar and be like, oh, it's off one day. That's evil as Hades. Not giving credit to the research that would allow you to actually critique it. Now check that out, Elder Lawya. You don't give credit because we gave you the research so that you can critique it. So if it was off one day, the proper thing for you to do was to come to us so that we can fix it. We're not trying to have it where people aren't following correctly. But why do they do that? Because they're wicked. So what we've done is make the calendar even more exact to where you can see when the holy day comes in. It says sundown. That day is when the holy day starts. Therefore, they can't even nitpick that. And it's deep. The Most High gave us the calendars to be able to show our people the true time. And then you get these side hustlers who would copy the calendar and say, well, guess what? The calendar we copied from you is correct. And the one that the church is doing is off one day. Please buy my calendar.
Right.
You know what I mean? I tell you, boy, it's one thing to build the Sunday. But sometimes building the Sunday is too much work. Right? You know what? That Sunday looks nice, but it will not be complete unless I come later and put the cherry on top. But brothers and sisters, the 12 tribes of Israel, the first theme, going way back to the 12 lost tribes found, one of the first lessons that actually exposed the gathering of Christ to the world, has now been put within a 12-month calendar. And I hope you all could get this for not just to keep the time for a calendar. Folks, this is a study piece. You can use this to study and everything with. Okay? And when you break something down or the Most High give you some understanding in the scriptures, guess what? On that day, write in the box what been revealed to you. Scriptures or whatever the case is, you can keep track of your own spiritual progression and put things like the Most High show you something in one of these days, write it in there. Write this scripture here, this breakdown, this is what the Most High revealed to me this month. Use the calendar not just to keep time, but to also do what? Help in your spiritual growth and understanding of Him, the Almighty. Chart your progress even within the calendar. Another way of using this as a tool. Okay? All praises be to the Most High, Danica. So we put it out there because the Most High gave it to us. Look at this. And because the Most High have given it to us, look at this. Israel is coming together all over the world, and that's illustrated within the calendar. Look at this. This brother right here is training to be a pilot. I said, don't worry about it, brother. One day you'll be taking us all around the world if it be the Most High's will. 3 generations of Hebrews in the calendar. Jacob, but Israel. Ahiah. That's a brother who passed not too long ago, and we'll see him upon the coming of our Lord and Savior. And he had this big jacket on, big strong brother, and it said Ahiah, and we wanted to honor that brother from the Carolinas. Look at our people. Look at our people, boy. And yeah, oh yeah, you know we had to represent our brothers and our sisters from the South Pacific You got it. You got it, folks. From the South Pacific Naphtali. During the Feast of Tabernacle. Look at this. This was an actual photo taken from someone in the church during the time of baptism. We use this photo. An actual photo taken by us, by the flock. Look at Issachar coming out of the water. Issachar baptizing in the waters of Puerto Rico. The Most High is bringing back God's people. If you're not excited, something is wrong with you. Look at this. At the water, an actual picture of a baptism. The Most High is called, look at this. The mass baptism we had at the DMV. Look at this, folks. From the one lesson we began to teach from the beginning, the 12 lost tribes found. Years later, I need you all to examine what the Most High have done, which is illustrated from the time at which is two people in front of a camera to the Most High accepting all of his people throughout the earth back to him through baptism. Look at that. We had a mass baptism, and look at it. As far as the eye can see. Look at that. From one lesson, the 12 lost tribes found in the beginning, and showing the Most High's name up until now, where the work still continues to resonate through this earth, bringing back God's people. And that's why Paul stated, well, you showed me your faith. And Paul says, but I'll show you my faith by my works. Do some work. Okay? That's what you do. Because there's no question about this, folks. You cannot tell me the Most High wasn't pleased with this day you're witnessing right here. Sister Esther in February. Showing Esther in February. Look at this. And at the very end, showing a depiction from one of Sister Shirley's plays at the Passover. And we intentionally did what? Blurred out the face here. Okay, but it was from what? It was from the plays we had at the Passover. Look at this. He which testifieth these things saith, surely I come quickly. Amen. Even so come, Lord Yeshua. Israel is coming back. Look at this. And we're so humbled to be a part of such a great work that the Most High has bestowed upon this church. And none of this would be possible without all of you. We thank you. We thank you. Pre-order your calendar. And believe me, you will not regret having this as a piece in your home. A memento in your home. And the calendars are so well put together. Rarely does anyone throw these calendars away. Usually, after the year is done, you can get a frame and just put pictures all over the place in your office or whatever the case might be, right? Again, this is where you order the calendar right there. Now, moving along, the theme for this academy, Elder Lawya, War of the Gods. Right?
Yes, sir.
A lot of people out there, Elder Lawya, don't know when Jacob fell down. I mean, he fell asleep and had that dream. And in the dream, he seen God's ascending and descending. Gods or powers leaving the earth to the throne and coming back into the earth from the throne. Well, folks, I did some research, and when you look at that ladder, even science can break it down. That when it talks about the Most High made Orion and Pleiades, well, the star system Pleiades is what Jacob seen. That's right. It's a star system where the angels use as a ladder or steps to come down into the earth and back out of the earth. And guess what? There's a what? An eventual war against the gods who are stuck here, who are seeking to go back out into what? Into heavens through Pleiades to the throne of the Almighty for the final war. The war of the gods is the theme. You don't want to miss our lessons for this academy concerning spiritual warfare. It starts here. War of the Gods, the next Hebrew and Bible Academy, starts Sunday, February 16th, 2025. It starts at 9 a.m. We'll be out by 2 p.m. on a time schedule so that we can answer questions right after the lesson. You have Elder Lawya with the Hebrew. Shaphat and I deal with the news for that particular week, prophetic news. And then you'll have your lesson. In your email, you click on it, boom. You can follow us. You have a PDF and all that. Very well put together lessons with the what? Correct doctrine, which is most important of all, okay? Insightful new lessons, the origin of angels, the reason Adam fell, the true understanding of the Antichrist will be a lesson. The true doctrine of the Gentiles, we're going into that. Also, we're going to be going into, we got the true doctrine of the Gentiles, and we're going to take 1 week to go into the lost books, highlighting the Testament of Solomon and what? The Apocalypse of Paul. You don't want to miss this academy. Okay? Go to historytimes.org to enroll. Also, we'll have special guests this coming academy. The special guests start in week 2 when we break down tracing the serpent seed. We're going to be breaking down the angelic hierarchy from the top of the throne all the way down to the bottom, right? Speaking of the angels. And we're going to also dive into the 24 elders. Well, week 2 will also have a guest. We'll have a weight loss. The topic will be weight loss, okay? When it comes to the Q&A sessions. Thank you. The Q&A sessions, thank you. The Q&A sessions will be about weight loss. Now, when we go into weight loss, it's not talking about just losing weight. It's talking about going back to the original diets so that we can get what? The most from our temples. Regardless of what they're saying out there, folks, we only get one shot at life. There is no reincarnation. You don't come back again. And you got some Hebrews out there with these lying fables talking about you come back in the 3rd or 4th generation. The Bible doesn't say that. That's a lie. There's no 3rd or 4th generation. That's talking about in the Old Testament in the curses where if you sin, that sin can fall on your children up until the 3rd or 4th generation until they begin to direct themselves in the path of the Almighty. That's not saying that a curse is when you do something, you die, and you come back 3 or 4 generations. I don't know where they get that hot mess from. Okay? We only get one opportunity at this life. And we must do as much as we can to protect these temples, because these temples house the spirit that God gave us. Okay? We must protect these temples because these temples house the spirit of the Almighty. We only get one of these. And so we're going to have a Q&A week 2 with Dr. Goodman, who will help address any health concerns or issues one might have. Okay? We're going into weight loss and what? Keeping our bodies right. Because what? Sickness weighs on us to a degree where it affects our mental, believe it or not. It slows up the process to be able to actually learn, to actually optimize our minds. Okay? Q&A session, and we're going to talk about, and Dr. Goodman is going to be talking about how to get off medications and do what we've been doing since the beginning, using food for medicine. And we're going to talk about that. Week 4, we have another officer, Micah Allah, in Atlanta, who's going to come in and he's going to tell us about the long-term food preparations, how to prepare your own food, how to actually deal with food preparations for store or what have you. In case of an emergency, how will your family eat? Well, we're going to talk about that week 4. Week 6, farming with Elder Rawchaa. How to farm, and he learned from, let me tell you, he got it literally out of the soil. A lot of what he does is self-taught, just through experience, trial and error. What a wonderful and wonderful, strong brother. And I'm so proud of him. And he's going to come in and show us how to live off the earth, farming. Week 8, we'll have fitness with brother Raphael from South Carolina. And this particular brother used to play in the NFL. He's going to come in and give us more in-depth information on fitness. Week 10, we'll be going into, well, Brother Rico from Atlanta. Thank you, Brother Rico. He'll be going into emergency first aid preparedness with Brother Rico. Okay? Now, there's other things I wanted to include in this, right? I wanted to include being able, self-defense, how to defend yourself, even with weaponry if necessary, right? How to clean your constitutional tool, how to keep it ready in case someone tried to assail you, right? Target practice, how to do your own target practice. Also, I wanted to go into a safe way of operating and not having fears when it comes to using your defense tools. I really wanted to talk about that, but usually when you go into things like that, weaponry, how to prepare yourself in defense, the media and others would try to spin that as someone doing what? In the United States, forming a militia against government. That's how they'll try to frame that. This is why, even though I say that everyone needs to exercise their constitutional right to protect themselves from any, because guess what? You can follow the Bible, but and still have the right to defend yourself against someone that's trying to harm you and your family. So even though we're biblical people, we're nonviolent people, we believe in defense. But all in all, even though I would like, because I have some people in the church that are just very, very good in teaching this, but if we were to bring that forth, they would now shift the attention on our church from what it exactly is. Now, you notice they don't talk about our church in the media at all unless they try to find something negative against us. But soon as we start out there teaching people how to defend themselves, that will be the new example to the world concerning what this church is about. And I didn't want to have that overshadow the mission of our church and why we were called. And that's the only reason I didn't have that piece as a part of the church. But we still, let me emphasize, we still promote brothers and sisters to lawfully be able to defend themselves. Okay? Because what? That's the Bible. But we must be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. So we're not going to put something out there where now the media want to pay attention to it. When we were saying who the Israelites were, no one was paying attention. When we went into the conversion of the Europeans, the Edomites who converted during the time of Hyrcanus in the 2nd century into Jews, that conversion, they didn't want to pay no attention to that. When we have the history to show that some of the first slave ships that came to the shore of America was actually titled the SS de Judah. They didn't call us on any of the shows to discuss that groundbreaking information that the blacks in America are Jews. When we broke the information about the Phoenician, Hebrew, and also artifacts that were brought over here from the lost tribes of Israel, found in burial grounds in Ohio and different areas of the Americas, proving that the Indian tribe, the indigenous people over here, were from Israel. They didn't call us to come into any of these broadcasts and say, man, can you give me some insight on this particular information to verify that your claim that the Indian tribes and the Puerto Ricans and others are from the lost tribes of Israel? So they're definitely watching. Because if we were to say, well, listen, here's our self-defense classes. Believe me, that one particular thing would be on every mainstream media circulation, showing people training. See? So, we have enough wisdom not to show ourselves as some military force. That's crazy to do so. The Bible says, even our father Isaac gave Esau the power of what? The sword. That Esau would rule through the sword and bloodshed. So if our father told Isaac this is how Esau would stay in power, wouldn't I be a fool showing myself and people amongst us and expose our people as a military force against something that we can't win against? That's ridiculous. Christ is our king. He's our general. And there is no fighting against anything unless he bring it forth and lead us into battle. So until that happens, we're just a loving church who teaches the Bible. Okay? And that's all we'll ever be. How you doing, Elder?
I'm doing well, sir. I can't complain at all.
All right.
Yourself?
I'm blessed by the best. Let's jump in. Hit the like button. All right, let's jump right in, Elder Lawya. Right? All praises be to the Most High. Here we go. Bullet point 1. Forgers of lies. Well, Elder Lawya, if you can, get me that scripture real quick out of the book of Job.
Yes, sir. All right, Job 13:4.
Okay, Job 13. Hold on, let me bring you here. Job 13, verse 4. The Bible. Read.
But ye are forgers of lies.
They are what?
But ye are forgers of lies.
The Most High says they are forgers of lies. What?
Ye are all physicians of no value.
And he says they are what? Physicians of no value. Now, why does the Bible call these so-called physicians of no value? Folks, the true physicians, according to the Word of God, didn't make a living healing people. That wasn't their living. A true physician seldom see patients because they're good at it. I need y'all to understand this. A physician is in a position where there would be no need for him. True physicians of the Bible cures people, not make repeat customers. And this is why the Bible states there's something new in the earth. These people are lying to people, and these are physicians that really aren't benefiting the people. You go to these physicians and become worse off than you were before you went to them. So the Bible says physicians of no value. See, the physicians that grew up, that understood the herbs and all that, they couldn't make a living like that, really. They had family who dealt with crops and all these others, animals and all that. But they also had the knowledge to go in and find the root of an issue and heal it permanently. And therefore, that's all was needed.
Mm-hmm.
See? Even back when Gad was here in North America before Esau came here, they had what they called medicine doctors and all that who knew what herbs and all that to give people to cure them. It wasn't about having some repeat customer come to you for a checkup so that they can only find something else wrong with you. And why am I going into forges of lies? See, when the media is directing people one way, I always say, well, okay. What are we missing in the midst of all that? Which brings me, Elder Lawya, to the bullet point. Forgers of lies. Right? So let's talk about it real quick and then go to the next topic. Right? Let's jump right in. Jump right in. Right? Now, of course, when Elder Rawchaa put together the news from week to week, and he does a great job with it. He does a fantastic job with it. Well, usually what we do is we make sure the links are sent to you or whatever the case is. You can follow us along to actually verify what we're giving you in the news. Right? Forges of lies from the Catholic vote. A lot of people didn't know that this was out there because they have us looking other places. What? Susan Berry, PhD, on February 11th, 2025, just yesterday. What they didn't tell y'all folks is what? At least 8 states now have legislative efforts to ban COVID mRNA shots. Efforts are underway in at least 8 states to withdraw from the market the experimental mRNA injections that many in America were mandated to take or else risk loss of livelihood or visits with loved ones. They was telling people, you got to be evil to tell someone don't go see the people you love and discourage them from seeing your own mother and grandmother. Man, I was like, man, if you don't get out of my face, you got to be evil as Hades to scare people to a degree where your grandparents are alone with no moral support from their families, only left to die. I'm like, you gotta be crazy. The Bible says honor your mother and father. I don't care what they're telling you. Going to tell you to stay away from, if they can tell you to stay away from your own family or feel that your own family is a threat, you have no chance. And during the whole time they were saying this crap, I was telling people how ridiculous that was. And now it's all coming out. Oh, now you want to ban. Now you're talking about legislation to ban something. When all of you was on board, when it was happening. Oh, you probably made enough room for the people that you knew you would be coming next with your corporate rollout for labor. Is that it? That through this initiative, you made room, sacrificing our people and our loved ones to make room for the visitors. Could that be? And now they're going to talk about it. Forgers of lies. Speaking of forgers of lies, Elder Lawya, right? This is in New Jersey now. State not proposing COVID-19 vaccine mandates for schools. So New Jersey now, one of the most liberal areas with a bunch of liberal nut jobs running all around, right? Now, all of a sudden, they're going to back off and say, well, we're not going to mandate it for our schools going forward. Right? Oh, I thought it was such a panic. I thought if we don't do this, it's the end of the world. Man, I hope, Elder Lawya, I hope people are paying attention. I hope they're paying attention, because this is going to go down in history. Down the line, they're going to make you believe that this was the plague that came in the Dark Ages. They're going to make you believe that in history, they're going to tell you that people were dying on the streets and all that crap. And I hope people are here and will live long enough to be able to what? Respond back and say, listen, that history needs an asterisk. Because I was there. And what I seen was theater and more people putting others in fear than anything. Right? Forgers of lies. Speaking of forgers of lies, see, brothers and sisters, I like to look at things like C-SPAN while they have everyone else scrolling TikTok. And I'm not going to cast no negative aspersions against people who look at TikTok. I know it's very entertaining, some short stuff that you can get, and there's some valued information there for those who go there, who know what to search for. But while they have the world looking at TikTok, look at what's going on here. Fair use for educational purposes only. Forgers of lies. Now they're going to talk about publicly what they couldn't say, even as politicians, 4 to 5 years ago, 3 to 4 years ago.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hold on, let me get it here. Fair use for educational purposes only.
Mr. Fauci, you were quoted on CBS Face the Nation saying it's easy to criticize, but they're really criticizing science because I represent science. Do you represent science, Mr. Fauci?
I am a scientist.
Now, I don't got to say educational purposes because what? C-SPAN is a service for the people. I don't have to say fair use here because this information is our taxpayers, is our tax dollars at work. Okay? This is them revealing to us how the so-called politicians are fighting for their constituencies in our absence. So I don't have to say fair use during this because this is C-SPAN. This is government information that's afforded to the public for free. All right? A lot of y'all didn't know this happened. Fair use. Here's the guy, Fauci, right?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Fauci, you were quoted on CBS Face the Nation saying it's easy to criticize, but they're really criticizing science because I represent science. Do you represent science, Mr. Fauci?
I am a scientist who uses the scientific method to gain information.
Yes, you said you represent science. Do you represent science, Mr. Fauci? Yes or no? Yes or no?
No, that's not a yes or no answer.
Yes, it's a yes or no.
I don't think it is.
Okay, well, we'll take that as a you don't know what you represent.
Okay, because he don't think it is, it's not. You can't make this. listen, I said so, and you better take what I say as the gospel.
But this, as director of the NIH, you did sign off on these so-called scientific experiments. And as a dog lover, I want to tell you this is disgusting and evil.
This is what we do on the Academy too, because I narrate these things to break it down to what this theater is really doing here. Even though she's going to bring out some good points, but I come in to say, I'm going to show you how the diversion or media works. It's proven right now, well, it's appearing that she's being what? That she's clamping down on this guy who apparently, according to them, abused his power in that position. So it appears that she's coming after him. But instead of showing the people that were affected by this, she brings in 2 dogs. You see this, Elder Lawya?
Yes, sir.
I need some pictures of the trauma that happened to grandma and grandpa, who was secluded away from their family, who couldn't visit them, only to be told days later that they're on a ventilator, and now the Most High have called them home. Where are those pictures? So that's why I but I do strategic commentary in the Academy. Because it appears that she's really coming up against them, but this is the example, even though I love dogs too. But I would rather her give us some statistics on how many people didn't make it based on this man's decisions, if they exist. But fair use.
You signed off on, and these experiments that happened to beagles paid for by the American taxpayer. And I want you to know Americans don't pay their taxes for animals to be tortured like this. So the type of science that you are representing, Mr. Fauci, is abhorrent, and it needs to stop. Mr. Fauci, you also represent the type of science where you confess that you made up the COVID rules, including
I didn't hear what you
6
said.
feet social distancing and masking of children.
I never said I made anything up.
You admitted that you made it up. You
I
made it
didn't
up
say
as you went.
I made it up.
So are you saying this is fake news, Mr. Fauci?
I didn't say I made anything up.
What did you say?
I said that it is not based in science and it just appeared.
But this is science.
What does dogs have to do with anything that we're talking about today?
These are scientific experiments. This is what you signed off on. But you also told the American people they had to distance by 6 feet. They had to wear masks. But let's also talk a little bit further about the type of science that you represent. NIH scientists made $710 million in royalties from drug makers, a fact that's been hidden. Let's talk about the fact about, is it right for scientists and doctors getting paid by the American people, government taxpayer paychecks, to get patents where they're paid millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in royalty fees, especially when the NIH and these government agencies, most powerful agencies in our country, are recommending medical suggestions and advice and making up guidelines like 6 feet distancing and masking of children? Do you think that's appropriate? Do the American people deserve to be abused like that, Mr. Fauci? Because you're not doctor, you're Mr. Fauci in my few minutes. No, I don't need your answer. I want to talk about this right here.
Mr. Chairman,
Fauci,
objection.
I reclaim
Mr.
my
Chairman,
time.
objection.
I reclaim my time. I reclaim my time, Mr. Raskin.
Gentlelady will
Point of order.
suspend.
Mr. Chairman,
Point of order.
just in terms of the rules of decorum, are we allowed to deny that a doctor is a doctor just because we don't want him to be a doctor?
Yes, because in my time, that man does not deserve to have a license. As a matter of fact, it should be revoked, and he belongs in
Gentlelady will
prison.
suspend. The gentlelady should recognize the doctor as a doctor. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, is this what we have become? Is this what we have devolved into? No decorum.
You know what? We can do that hearing about the poor men that were injected with syphilis, because I support you in that. That's horrific. And this government that does things like that to Americans doesn't have decorum to the Americans.
Now, you notice she only refers back to syphilis, Tuskegee experiments. There's something that we can't do anything about. And didn't make any mention of the devastation to our people during the so-called pandemic. You notice that? She's talking about one thing, but go all the way back to the Tuskegee experiment to speak of the devastation that happened with them experimenting on our people, studying syphilis. But yet, fell to bring in the devastation that happened to us that allow now our people to become weak in these areas where now the replacements have come in with all the money they have utilized to have these new people replace those who died during that time period.
Mr. Chairman,
The gentleman is out of
point of regular order, please.
The gentleman is out of order.
Decorum.
I recognize a point of order. Go ahead with your point of order.
You got it.
No, I mean, I was going to say what Representative Raskin said. That's completely unacceptable to be able to deny Dr. Fauci, who's here, a respected member of the medical.
A respected member. Elder Lawya, let's go back to the book of, let's go out of the Bible real quick.
Yes, sir.
Now, I don't even want to talk about what is the judgment if it's founded that someone may have passed some type of laws or tricked people into doing something that led to possible fatalities. The Bible is clear when it comes to judgment on people like that. But this guy have his little tutus in a bunch because she refused to call him doctor. Elder Lawya, if you will, let's go real quick. Let's go back to the Bible and read it again.
Yes, sir. Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies. You are all physicians of no value.
You are all physicians of no value. And see, brothers and sisters, while everyone is looking one way, I'm in this Bible and I'm looking in areas so that our people are not deceived. Because this guy Fauci didn't come out of nowhere, okay? He didn't just appear out of nowhere. And they did the switch and bait to have you focus on Wuhan and China so that you wouldn't begin to think that someone from the inside of the country was behind all of what we see. Right? What is this? The National Institute of Health. What is this? What are we looking at here? A young Fauci, or a younger Fauci, mind you. I need to blow this up. Because he didn't just appear out of nowhere. Between 1988 and 1994, he was paid predominantly, brothers and sisters, under the Bush administration during the time where they were about to go to war, right before they was about to go to war, eventually. Okay? With the Bushes, right after Clinton, he was moved into position under the Bushes in the 2000s. But well before that, he was working on something. What was he working on? Listen to this, folks. Dr. Fauci served as the NIH's AIDS coordinator before his appointment as the first director of OAR upon its establishment in 1988. This is when it was established. Listen. Dr. Fauci joined the NIH as a clinical associate in the Laboratory of Clinical Investigation at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID. he became head of the clinical physiology section and was later appointed chief of laboratory of immunoregulation in 1984. Look at the places he was appointed to focus on, folks. Dr. Fauci became director of the NIAID in a position he held until his retirement December 2022, where he oversaw an extensive research portfolio, basic and applied research to prevent, diagnose, and treat infectious diseases. Listen to this, folks, such as HIV, AIDS. See that? This is what he was into well before the so-called pandemic. HIV, AIDS. I remember back then when it first came out, it was just being publicized on the news as a gay disease. That's where LGBTQ comes in at. Only for them to use Magic Johnson to make it a black thing. And now the finances have now gone towards our people being tested and medicated in the communities as well as Africa. See? I don't even have to tell y'all about AZT, which was the so-called cure that was jacking our people up in the community because of these diagnoses. Get your tests. Get your tests. A disease that you have to fill out a questionnaire to determine whether or not you have a disease. Folks, that was him. With the bait and switch. Started off with LGBTQ. Used Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington in a movie called, ironically, Philadelphia, to put that on the consciousness of our people, knowing that they're going to switch this from a gay thing to a black thing. See how it works? He was there for that. Huh? See this? He was there for that. A bait and switch. Now, why did they have LGBTQ first and then switch it to blacks? Because all the social programs that was set up that they would administer the money through had to be given to the first people who were affected by it. So automatically all the programs that was set up when AIDS first came into play, since it was affecting gay people, it was the gay people over the what? The programs that they would now have over our community. The money was funded through them since they were the first ones affected by it. So when our people now are claiming, oh, they're HIV and AIDS, all the money is going through LGBTQ even back then. Even though we're affected, they're getting paid. White gay people. Oh, y'all see this? Physicians of no value. And now we're seeing the end game of them exterminating the children of Israel. Now Trump is on the scene. They're making some particular investigations with the Department of Government Efficiency, which is named, short for Doge. Doge's next target revealed after $59 million was spent to put illegal immigrants in luxury hotels. Is it all coming together for you now? Make room, and now you put all the money into the replacements. See? It was no wonder they were schooling foreigners under our particular minority civil rights grants, bringing them in to become doctors and others, because these are going to be the people that would be in our community diagnosing us under these programs, only to make room eventually for their families. See how it works? And to desensitize the people from what's actually happening, media, Hollywood and all that with their commercials would begin to show less of them and more of us as a predictive programming tactic so that we don't recognize the landscape is changing and we begin to see all of these people who are the replacements as the norm through that programming. See? You will see less of us, more Asian and East Indians, and then then automatically your subconscious is programmed to believe the landscape of them getting rid of your people, replacing your people with them is normal. Folks, it's what they call silent warfare without one gun used. It's almost no different than if they just dropped the bomb on us and just rebuild. No different. So they go to Africa with this crap. They go to every place with this crap and try to put diseases on us. So that now the finances are now what? Siphoned from these politicians into these programs that at the end of it, it's getting rid of the children of Israel before the coming of our Lord. Now, going back to him real quick. Look at this, folks. Not just HIV. All of a sudden, respiratory infections, diarrhea diseases, tuberculosis, malaria. Why is these people so fascinated with Africa and people and places we live? Who told him to research where we come from? He's not here to help us. Malaria? And guess what? I was in Africa. And the people in Africa is like, malaria ain't nothing to us. That's no different than a cold to us. They're telling us in America that malaria is like what we thought what corona was, how they were reporting it from Wuhan. But when you talk to people in Africa, they're like, malaria? It's just a cold. That's what they tell you in Africa. They're like, we take that tree bark over there, boil it and drink it, and we good by the morning. But in America, they make us believe malaria is a death sentence. Malaria, as well as emerging diseases, check it out, Ebola and Zika. So every place the children of Israel reside, they come with these particular scenarios under the guise of helping our people. Only to end up at the end of it where there's less of us. And at the end of the day, they're like, okay, now we must change the labor force. $59 million they found towards illegal immigrants in luxury hotels, making sure they eat and all of that, the stamps, they found out Social Security, all your taxpayer money is going into these people that have come to the country for the last 4 years. Politico is fighting tooth and nail to not allow them to investigate the monies that went towards Politico, which is a media conglomerate that pushes the satanic, everything that we're talking about tonight, Politico was enforcing. And they're also, Politico are the fact checkers, because they're starting to find out the money that was actually allocated through them, through media, to keep us in this satanic loop of distortion. So not to understand that we were under attack. Uh-huh. Fair use, fair use, fair use. The Bible states what, Elder Lawya? They are what? Read it one more again.
Yes, sir. Job 13, verse 4. But ye are all forgers of lies.
They are forgers of what?
You're all forgers of lies.
And what?
You're all physicians of no value.
And the Bible states what they are and who they are. I told you this before the so-called pandemic, and I'm telling you now. If you fall for their deception, is at your own peril. You've been told, you've been warned. See? So guess what? The Most High he have never had something go down in the earth where the people weren't warned first. Never. He have never had anything go down where the people weren't told out of the word from the prophets and teachers what was about to happen. But the ignorant who scorn God and have no faith in him would have more faith in their physicians than God. So guess what? You get what you take. And guess what? You deal with the result from what you believe in. If you believe in them, then accept the result. Or come back to the Almighty and be protected under his hedge. Elder Lawya, all right. Now, that's bullet point 1, which was forgers of lies. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now we're about to go into bullet point 2. Kings makes queens. On the back of Purim, okay? On the back of still being in the parts of Purim where we give gifts to one another based on what happened, right? During the time of Sister Esther in Persia, which is modern day Iran, right? We're going to come right back and unpack our last bullet point for this evening. Kings makes queens. Hold tight. We'll be right back. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that he used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited. Do us a favor, brothers and sisters. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. Please hit the like button. All right. Okay, Elder Lawya, are you back with us?
All right. Yes, sir. I'm here.
Man, let me tell you, we went through the story last night. For those who didn't see the broadcast, make sure you go back and look at the Purim 2025 lesson, where we go into the dynamics that led to Sister Esther becoming queen. Which leads us to our topic right now, Elder. Well, our second bullet point for tonight before opening up Zoom. Kings makes queens, right? Elder Lawya, someone sent me a video and I just had to laugh when I did the research on this particular individual. No wonder we're so lost right now as a people. Elder Lawya, there's a person running around online by the name of Princella, the Queen Maker. Now I'm probably late to the party. I'm just finding out about this. And I'm like, no wonder our people are so lost. Are they actually going to this woman for relationship advice? Have you ever heard of this Princella the Queen Maker, Elder?
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay. It's blowing me away that people are following this girl in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. And she's popular. She's a self-proclaimed, and this is her word. I don't even have to say allegedly. She was in the military, was married, had a child with a man, but yet when you listen to her, she tell you that she deal with women. She's a lesbian. A lesbian, she wear fitted caps and all that. So back then, I'm like, yo. So she's on the masculine side of things when it comes to a lesbian, but yet she's a queen maker. Women cannot make queens unless something happens with a woman like that or people like that, sons who grow up to believe it's okay to wear what mom and grandmom's wearing. Those are the only queens they can make.
That's right.
Kings makes queens. It tripped me out to see this. I'm like, are people going to what we call growing up butch women for relationship advice? So I'm like, Lord help us all. I mean, I'm going to tell you, the Babylon bounce is around the corner based on what I'm seeing here. If this is where we're going, instead of humbling ourselves and coming to God and submitting ourselves to our men, that we would rather listen to a self-proclaimed lesbian for relationship advice, then there's no hope. Lord, in the morning time. I mean, this scriptures is just popping all through my mind right now that I'm going to grab in a moment. Who is the queen maker? Your journey starts here. I am a relationship strategist. Elder Lawya, I know you want to know what one of those are. All right? A relationship, because you have to have a serious strategy to have her failed relationships, right, as really her resume. You got to be really strategic to thread this needle. A relationship strategist. What the Hades is that? And the founder of Queen Maker LLC. And listen, all due respect to her, I don't know her. Maybe she can come to Christ. But she even got a bookstore. The 5 components, Elder Lawya, you probably want to get this one. The 5 components of love. Do you want to get that one, Elder?
No, sir.
Hey, listen.
Not at all.
You want to find out what the Queen Maker is doing with the 5 components of love? Huh? So do you think a lot of these women are just discouraging other women so that they can come to the other side?
Absolutely. I think that's definitely a key component. I think another component is that I think everybody's hustling. Everyone has found the hustle within the relationship conversation game, and everybody's getting in on it. So
Oh yeah. A matter of fact, my man Cameron, we had some of the same management back then. So when you see this, when it scroll, you got to be hearing in the background of the lawyer. I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler. Oh yeah, man.
He's about Cassidy.
Oh, Cassidy, yeah. Not Cameron, Cassidy from Philly. Yeah, it was Cassidy. Yeah, we had the same lawyer.
Yeah.
Cassidy and I had the same lawyer back then. But yeah, I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler, right? Now, let's talk about it real quick. Right? There's another guy. Right? I'm going to show you who screwed things up, right? Check this out. Here it is. Here it is. Right? Let me pull this up real quick, Elder Lawyer. Because I know you want to get this. Right? I know this is, you got to put this, you got to have this up on the shelf not too far from the Apocrypha. All right? Not too far. I know you want to have this one. Put this thing right next, there it is. All right? I'm going to show you where it's at. Make sure you get that, make some space. Do like this, Elder Lawyer. Make some space in that library. Move that wisdom book over. Because you about to pop it off with this book that I'm about to show you. Right? Now, I'm jumping right in. Bear with me. Right? Just make some room on that. Man, listen, your library, it's probably ain't as big as mine, but I know it's big. Make some room now. All right. All right. Here it is. Drum roll. Got to put a drum roll up on you, right? Just hold tight. Hold tight. Because I know you're going to want this one. You're going to put this in your library now, young man. Right? Let me show you where it's going. There it is. And this is falling right into our commentary on what we're about to go into. Kings and queens. And I'm going to actually re-edit this because it comes down to what? Kings makes queens. I had to retitle that. Here it is, Elder Lawyer. You ready to get that? You open that area for your book section. Here it comes. Right? Between lesbians giving family advice. Right? And then let's go to the man side, right? Super simpletons. I'm a hustler. Here it is. There it is. I know you want that right there. There it is. Let me blow this up for you. Super satanic simpletons, right? Let me get it here. Hold up. Let me. There it is. Let me see if I can find it. There it is, Elder Lawyer. This is definitely, let's see what the scriptures do to confirm this. Right? How you can act like a lady, but think like a man.
Wow.
There he is. It's impossible for a woman to think like a man. So, you got to put Cassidy's I'm a hustler behind this too.
That's right.
And I'm going to show you what happens when you go into all these different books to lie and to destroy your own people. Right? And to deceive your people for the sake of their satanic hustle. No, he know that he's breaking up families with these particular books. A bestseller. And I don't know one man, not a straight man anyway, who purchased this book. what men really think about love. You think Steve Harvey can tell you how men think about love? Men are simple. You know what I mean? Listen, I just need a little bit more salt in my soup. Okay, it's not all dynamic, and not all this.
Right.
It's not that complex. You know what I mean? Pass me the butter over there so I can butter, my bread.
Right.
You're right. It's like, listen, just treat me with respect. Honor the Most High. Be a helpmeet. Men aren't that complex. Men don't go into this thing like, I'm going to show a woman what I really think about love. Men provide, protect, and do what they need to do to keep a roof over their family's head. So he done gas these women up with, act like a lady, think like a man, and I'm going to show you the end result of this. His so-called stepdaughter, Lori Harvey, has everyone drooling over Playboy photo shoot. His daughter is posing for Playboy. So obviously, this is the last guy you can go to for advice about how a man thinks, which is total failure. I don't care how much money this man has in his bank account, because all of his work was put in, a real man, his work was put in so that his daughter wouldn't have to sell herself to Playboy. Well, what's all these finances you made if you can't protect your daughter and not give her a life where she doesn't have to sell herself to the public and dishonor the man who worked hard to get her she has, let me tell you, she should have an easy life and go on with a husband without having to worry about money at all. But this is what happens when you have a woman, probably that he married, that acts like a lady, but yet think like a man. And that leads us to, here we go. Y'all doing a great job. Hit the like button. Let me get 300 more likes before we round this up. Elder Lawya, if you will. Right?
Yes, sir.
Let's now go into kings makes queens. Right? Last night, for the lessons, just so we can catch you up, we went into how Sister Esther became queen. We went into how Sister Esther became queen, and through her becoming queen, eventually, she got in position through her power to save and help her people. And we honor her during these times of year. And we're going to use her as an example to how far we have fallen. To a degree, we'll listen to lesbians for relationship advice instead of God. I'm going to tell you. We'll go to a guy that don't even have enough honor to keep his daughter from being seen as a sex object before men. Which is nothing more, folks, than harlotry. Which would embarrass a true man of means who have honor. Elder Lawya, let's just go to the Middle East real quick, right? Let's go to the Middle East, right? What would happen if one of the sheiks of the United Emirates, who's a rich man, what would happen if his daughter decided, because he have all the means to make sure she doesn't have to sell herself to men. What if a sheik or a prince from the United Emirates over in the Middle East, what would happen if his daughter decided to show herself on Playboy?
Man, is that even a question? I mean, man, she would be buried up to her head in sand and stoned to death. It'd be brutal.
It would be brutal in the Middle East. How can you shame my family, not just before the world, but before God? Because that would show that he's a failure. And you know what? Through that, he would lose business ties and everything. Because if you can't keep your own daughter in order, how can you do business, amongst the elite? How can you keep this business in order when your daughter is out there? Right? So this would be dishonorable. And don't you know this guy stated on Twitter how proud he was of his daughter? Now, again, if there's somebody out there who have gotten some good advice to live by and have benefited from this book and or the lesbian who calls herself the Queen Maker, I need them to come to the front of the audience and hit that Zoom link when I put that link in there. But let me make it clear. This is showing the world how far we have fallen from God as a nation, as a people, as a community, where anyone can give advice now. And wouldn't it just be simple if we would just follow the book instead of their book? Now let's go into it real quick, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir.
We're going to start off with Queen Vashti. It's men who make queens. Okay. Men, there is no queen without a king appointing her. So all this stuff running around saying you're queens, guess what? If you're not, let me tell you, if you don't have a king, you are not a queen. It doesn't matter what you think about yourself. This has nothing to do with that.
That's right.
According to the Bible, titles mean something. Okay? Kings make queens, not the other way around. And here it is, we living in a world that's so upside down, you got lesbians calling themselves queen makers. Let's go to the book of Esther.
Yes, sir.
Now, I need you to go directly, Elder Lawya, because we don't have to go into the whole thing based on the fact that a whole lesson was done last night, right? But what we can do, real quick, we can go to the book of Esther, and let's go straight to when the king summoned Vashti to come to him in the midst of a meeting there. There was a celebration. There was a celebration, and the beautiful Queen Vashti of Persia, who had beauty that was pronounced throughout all of the earth at this time, was summoned by her king to represent him next to his throne at the party, at the gathering, right? Chapter and verse, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir. The book of Esther, chapter 1, verse number 10.
1 verse 10. And I'm going to show you, according to the Bible, folks, kings make queens. Period. Queen Vashti. Let's go there. I'm in the Bible now. Let's get there. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbonah, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zethar, and Karsis, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look on.
So he says, listen, I'm up here by myself with all my friends, acquaintances, and those within my kingdom have all come together for the celebration. Go summon my wife to sit next to me. Read. And check out the queen. Read.
But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
What did she do? Hold on, Elder Lawya, I'm going to get there in a second. Mm-hmm. She embarrassed him in front of all his subjects. A respected man. Folks, just by him uttering one word, a man or woman would immediately cease to live. He could kill a man or woman just by one decree. And here it is. His woman was over there with all of her girlfriends. It tell you that she was entertaining on the other side of the province, of the house, with all of her girlfriends and all that. And the subject that we're under, they painting nails, having a good time, and sitting there, they're serving her, they laughing. And then he sends people over to come get her, and she says, nah. And she blows him off in front of not just his people who respect him, but she blows him off in front of her girlfriends. Arrogant. Wicked. Now I'm going to show you how the Most High work it. If Vashti would have been in position when Haman the Agagite ordered the death of our people during that time, this woman would have allowed our people to die. Because if she disrespects her husband, what care does she have for us? See how it works? So she's disrespecting the man who made her queen. Right? It takes a king to make her queen. So here it is. He's embarrassed. She's proud. She's feeling herself. All the girls taking care of her. She got her maidens. They doing her nail. They doing her face. They doing her toes. And she's sitting there with everybody else laughing and joking. Disrespecting her husband. The king was, and his anger was burned. Read 13.
Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew the law and judgment, and the next unto him was Karshanah and Shethar, Atmatha, Tarshish, Merez, Marsanah, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face.
Now here it is. You got the princes of Persia, folks, there seeing him being insulted by his wife before all those who respects him. Mm-hmm. Read.
Which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom.
Now some people might think this is a small thing. Get over it. She was going, or they would try to say, well, maybe what did he do to make her mad enough not to come? Try to give this woman some excuses for disrespecting her man. Automatically, the conversation, if this happened today, would be, well, what did he do to make her like that? Instead of pointing out the disrespect. And I'm going to show you how, and it's going to tell you in the scriptures how damning this was, because it's deeper than what she's going through in the moment right now. Because if she can disrespect him, everybody else can actually do even worse. Why should anyone respect him then? 15.
Which shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law, because she have not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains.
Read.
And Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen have not done wrong to the king only.
He says, listen,
but
he says, listen, king, she didn't just disrespect you, king. Read.
But also to all the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king of the king Ahasuerus. Verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women.
Listen, this is why it need to be stopped where it starts. They had enough understanding that this is not a situation between her and the king. Other women gonna believe it's okay to disrespect their men like she's disrespecting the king. Now I need us to look at our community right now. And examine this for a moment. Why others feel it's okay to not submit and be disrespectful. Why? Because what? It's normal to disrespect men. And you're the outcast if you don't. And guess what? The king's men understood this. Like, if you let this go, we're going to have a kingdom of disrespectful women that will poison our children, weaken our children, and weaken the boys, and that weakens the future army that we're raising to protect us. They don't look at it as some isolated incident between the king and his wife who probably had a spat. And they looking at her and be like, well, if she'll do this, and we are looking to you to advise us during war. Okay? So in the midst of your situation where she's giving you trouble, you may advise us incorrectly through frustration, which will lead to millions of people dying. Because she's not there to help meet and strengthen you. She'll be there to destroy you. See, this is a real council they're having right now. So the king isn't looking at this like, man, don't worry about it. That's my wife. He's not making no excuses for her or nothing. Because he understands how this looks. See? They weren't going to allow disrespect to be normalized in their kingdom. For this deed, the queen shall come abroad unto all women, read.
So that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. When it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Because
everybody, even though they're whispering, they're not saying nothing right now. When they leave this party, they're telling everyone how weak the king is. See this? And then all the women she embarrassed him in front of. How do you think they're going to treat their husbands when they go home? Right? 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 So how do you think they're going to treat their husbands when they go home? Right? 18.
Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she.
That is what?
That is better than she.
That's what a kingmaker looks like. She's not a queen without the king. So all those girls that's laughing amongst her, who's her maidens, these same girls are going to respect the next woman I put in charge. And they're going to learn how to honor their husbands through how she'll honor the king. That bed she's sleeping on, that the province, all the jewels, everything that's a part of the estate was taken away. And at that point, she was no longer queen. She was no longer queen. The only thing she had left was what? Her pretty self. The arm bearers came, and you know what they did? Okay, take off them pearls, take off the fine linen, take off everything that belongs to the queen. And they showed her the door. And not only that, it was put in writing in case the embarrassing incident would go out before the other people to say that this woman totally disrespected the king. That's what a queen maker looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Not no unrepentant failed lesbian who wants to give our women advice on how to hate men. That's not a queen maker. He says, listen, give me those jewels, those emeralds, give me all that fine linen. And then the men said, and give her royal estate. To who? Read it again. Give her royal estate to another that is what, Elder Lawyer?
That is better than she.
That is better than she. Why? And we're going to show you who the Most High had the king replace Vashti with. She thought her beauty can carry her through all of this, even if she disrespects the man who appointed her. Folks, we got to get out of this stuff where people can be just willy-nilly call themselves queen without a man.
That's right.
We have to get out of that. We are enabling this nonsense. We are enabling the disrespect. A queen where? There's no queen listen, there's princesses, which are daughters of kings. But a queen is appointed by a king already.
Mm-hmm.
And titles mean something. If we downplay what a queen is, then we'll begin to disrespect what a king is. And we can't do that because why? A king is coming.
That's right.
See? Titles mean something. And we have totally watered down this particular title by just giving it to anyone who claimed to be that. Who disrespect what that title truly means. The meaning of it. And let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. Read.
20. And when the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small.
He says, and I'm doing this so that, and putting it in writing so women will be reminded to do what? To give to their husbands honor. It doesn't matter how much money they have, or whether they six figures or whether they make $30,000 a year. It says both to great and small. It doesn't matter your status. You're going to respect the man.
That's right.
Whether you're great or small, you're going to be known for respecting your husband in this kingdom. Right? So now what happens? They sent it out in every language. And guess what? Vashti, in all her beauty, got the boot. And she left without a title. And folks, what I'm telling you right now is written in Persian history. You can find this story outside of the Bible within Iranian history till this day. Look it up. Ahasuerus and Vashti, the Iranian story. Look it up. So this happened. So the Most High made room using this scenario to replace her with a woman who would respect the title. Now let's see what a queen is considered according to the word of God. So no one out there in the future get this twisted. I'm going to replace her with someone in the 19th verse. That's what? That's better than Vashti. So let's see what God considers better than her. Let's go to Sister Esther now.
Yes,
Elder Lawya.
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point, chapter and verse.
Yes, sir. 2 and 15.
We go into now the second chapter and the 15th verse in the book of Esther. Read.
Now, when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, which had taken her for his daughter, was come to go unto the king, she required nothing but what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her.
So not only was she humble and the daughter of a prophet, guess what? She put Vashti to rest when it comes to beauty. Now, look, guess what, folks? Vashti was a distant memory after the king laid eyes on this humble, beautiful sister. Now, she was from the tribe of Benjamin. Beautiful sister, right? Finish reading, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir. Verse 16. So Esther was taken unto the king Ahasuerus into his house, royal in the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign.
Read.
And the king loved Esther above all the women.
Above all women. Read.
And she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti.
And made her what?
And made her queen instead of Vashti.
That's what a queen maker looks like. Made the sister queen instead of Vashti. Snatched that title and left her out with the shame that she put on her husband through disrespect. Make no bones about it, folks. Make no bones about it. It's no secret why women, even in this world subconsciously, regardless of race, chases status. Why? Because that status and power is an extension given to them. To now, if that man is honored, she's honored. Not the other way around. There's no man that's tied to a woman with status that men are looking at and saying, man, you're a great man because you got a woman with status. Doesn't work that way. A matter of fact, in this world today, she would be considered settling for that man. Right? That's settling. See? So here it is. So that he set the royal crown upon her head, he snatched, don't forget, folks, it's the crown that Vashti had on her head. We're not making no new crowns around here for queens. Okay? Mm-hmm. So he snatched the crown off of Vashti, showed her the door. And the kingmaker, the king, who's the queen maker, appointed Sister Esther as queen. And again, that's why we honor her as a memorial for Purim and gives gifts this time of year according to this memorial. Why? Because the Most High knew Haman the Agagite, the Edomite, was going to come in and plan on depopulating our people in the province, in the country. They were planning to kill our people. And if Vashti would have been in position when Haman made the decree to kill our people, folks, all of our people would have died with this woman being queen. So the Most High did what? He snatched that crown up off her and gave it to a humble woman who would respect her husband. And I tell you this, when the king called for this woman, and it wasn't through force either. When he summoned his wife, she was there at his beck and call. And guess what? She didn't feel frustrated being humble and submissive and respectful to her husband. And this is why the Most High gave this sister a throne fit for a queen. And we can learn so much through this based on what's going on in the earth today. And one thing that really stood out, Elder Lawya, to me was the fact that everyone who witnessed that disrespect understood what this would mean for the kingdom if the king didn't act.
That's right.
If he allowed, and this is why, I'm going to tell you, to some degree, this is why the men in our community isn't respected by other men. You think they don't sit back and see the straight disrespect given to us without us responding? Without us saying, you know what? I'm good. Because they'll see how they're being treated, even not being the husband, even not being from the community. Like there's an automatic respect to others that they see is happening to them, or a respect to them as strangers, in contrast to how they see some women who would treat their own people, their own men. So this is a learning thing. What? It's not putting anyone down. It's showing the true honor that the Most High give to a woman who's fit to be a queen. Esther today would be considered a pick-me. She would be considered a man lover. Like there's something wrong with that. A man who listens, you just listen to everything he say, huh? You must be getting abused. I used to hear this crap. No. A queen understands how to honor and respect a man. And I'm going to tell you, There's a lot of sisters that's not promoted in this society that are like that, but you will never see them. It seems like all of the wicked women have taken center stage and grabbed all the microphones and cameras and said, this is what represents our people. And it's time we push back. And it's time for the real queens, like the sisters like Esther, to come to the forefront. What say you before I bring, y'all doing a great job. We're here at over 2,100. All praises be to the Most High. And this is why the Most High have honored the sister Esther. He honored her because why? Her humility, her respect. And out of all the women, he sent out a decree for all of the virgins, the beautiful virgins, to be presented before the king so that he can choose one above them all. Think about that. Beautiful women from out all of the province, and then Sister Esther walked up in there. Game over.
Mm-hmm.
And her greatest attribute of all, even though she was immensely beautiful, was her humility, raised by a prophet. And see, Mordecai told her, Esther, don't initially tell them that you're from the tribes of Israel. Conceal your identity as an Israelite first. Conceal it. Don't tell them. And what happened was, Haman the Agagite, the Edomite, was there planning to kill our people, her people, and to hang her adopted father, her uncle, the prophet Mordecai, in her presence. He had no idea what he was dealing with. She was right there while this guy was planning with the king, convincing the king to kill Mordecai, the man who raised her, because Mordecai, as a prophet, refused to bow to the gods of Persia. And she's sitting there at the table. The Most High had her there for that moment. And one day she was sleeping next to her husband. She was distraught. And she says, listen, I'm Hebrew. They're going to kill our people. And you're going to allow them to kill the man who raised me? So he says, just give me one. It was that a scenario where he said, tell me anything you want. You're such a great wife I've been blessed with. I'll grant you any wish, anything you would like. And she says, there's planning to kill our people. I need you to hang Haman and all of his family and all of his men on the gallows they set up to kill my people. Instantly, the threat was squashed because of a real queen. She could have asked for anything for herself and responded with what? She responded with the details that would save her people. Now imagine if the king would have asked Vashti, anything you want, I'll give it to you. Oh yeah, well, I'll tell you what, there's this bag I see. Okay. Some watch, some more jewelry, some more riches. Why don't you give me some more servants? Esther could have asked for anything, and she asked what? She asked the king to save her family, save her people. Above anything she could have asked for herself, she requested what? For the king to be merciful and spare her people. And this is why Sister Esther and women like her are honored till this day. And again, kings makes queens. What say you, Elder, before we open up the, I can open up the Zoom for 10 minutes and then for 20 minutes, and we're out at about 9:30. What say you?
I'm good, sir. You can go straight to the Zoom.
Straight to the Zoom? Great.
Yes, sir. Wonderful, wonderful lesson.
Thank you. I'm going to do it like that from now on. We do our bullet points, get through it, and hey, keep it on point, right? Now,
Yes, sir. Makes it more focused and focus-driven and concise, precise, and yeah, it just makes it for a better message, you know.
Exactly.
When it's driven that way. But Salakia, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, my brother. But anyway, again, we have the Hebrew Bible Academy starting this coming Sunday. The theme is War of the Gods. I hope you all are there to be a part of this. Our new Hebrew Bible Academy enrollments currently are open. Outright enrollments right now are open for War of the Gods, the theme. Okay, we're going to go into it like never before. 3 full months of serious information. News commentaries, things that can't be discussed here due to censorship. We can talk about when it comes to the news with Shapat and I. Elder Lawya does a great job with Hebrew 101. And of course, we have the lessons prepared that will be in your inbox. And you can share this biblical experience with us starting this coming Sunday. We have the administration on standby. You can enroll at any time by going at historytimes.org. It's only $75 for the first month. More information that you've ever learned in 3 months for that amount. And another $75 for the second month. And then that pays for the complete 3 months. All right. Be there, the War of the Gods in the next academy. The 4 particular lessons that we're going to have, we're going to highlight the origins of the angels, the reason Adam fell, the true understanding of the Antichrist, the true doctrine to the Gentiles. We're going to also take 1 week, probably week 5 or 6, and go into the lost books. And we're going to highlight the Testament of Solomon and the Apocalypse of Paul this academy. You don't want to miss this. To get involved, to be a part of this great work, join our Hebrew Bible Academy. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. And believe it or not one academy is like the past academies. Each academy has their own information in of itself, even if some of the titles are similar. Be a part of this. Even if you joined it before, come back again. You want to be here as prophecy unfolds. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. All right. And for those who missed it, the 12 tribes of Israel calendar for pre-orders. The site is up for pre-orders. Okay. Go to gatheringofchrist.org and order your calendar, which begins next month for the new year. The theme is the 12 tribes have been put together with a beautiful special edition. Okay, so go to gatheringofchrist.org and do your pre-orders, and we'll send it out according to what? The order that came in. And the order it came in, when the stock comes, they go out to you. So have this before March comes in, okay? Because the new year starts next month. All right. Let's open up real quick. Let's now open up, if you will, let's open up real quick the Zoom. Okay. The Zoom link, and thank you, Elder Dell, for all you do, Elder Rawchaa, for your moderation. I need you all, whoever would like to come in and speak for a couple of seconds on Zoom. You have to show yourself on Zoom, even if you don't want to be seen. I need to see who I'm speaking with. Click the link if you'd like to come in and if you have an insight on the topics we discussed today. Okay, on the topics we discussed today. All right. And of course, the bullet points for today was forgers of lies and kings. The second one was kings makes queens. All right. All right, let me pull up the Zoom. Okay, we have a few people in here. All right. And please make sure, brothers and sisters, if you're going to come in through Zoom, to click the microphone. All right. To tell your device that you would like to use this audio device from this device for Zoom. All right. We're going to bring in Danielle Vincent. We got a few people in. Danielle. Then we're going to get TC. And I would like to say again, blessings to Sister Amanda, who really helped and supported the church. I spoke to you today. And again, our prayers go out. And if you're looking at this, Sister Amanda, we really appreciate you. And Bishop Baruch will be reaching out to you, okay? Danielle Vincent. How you doing?
And again, our prayers go out. And if you're looking at this, Sister Amanda,
Shalom.
I really appreciate you and Elder.
Do me a favor. How you doing? Your name is Daniel?
It's Delonte. That's my wife.
Okay, Delonte.
Let me turn off the.
Yeah. Mute YouTube for me, if you will.
And again, our prayers go out.
Shalom. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great, Elder. I'm trying to go back to.
No, you're fine. We can hear you clearly. Talk to me.
I'm doing good, Elder.
Where you from?
I am from Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Yes.
Are you behind?
I'm from Texas, but my wife got me here in Nebraska.
Okay, that's fine. Like a tight background. What you got, a screen? You got a green screen behind you or what?
No green screen. This is my home.
Oh man, that thing looks so tight. I see why you in Nebraska.
It's tight. You know, I went got an acreage. I gotta fix everything up here. So we making it work. We got some kids.
Hey brother, hey man, you doing it up. I mean, you're looking nice and organized. What books you have behind you right there, up there?
Oh, that's the 1908 Jewish Encyclopedia.
I have that.
I had to snag that.
So when I announced it, you went and got it, huh?
Quick. you know, they don't know no better. They giving it up. So I gotta get it.
Man,
I gotta get it while it's hot.
Let me tell you, man, those books you have behind you are real.
I got that. I got the
Sudi of
the Scottish Rights, Morals, and Dogma.
Okay, you got the actual book.
I got the book.
All right. Talk to me, young man. You got a young scholar here.
Hey, I went through the Hebrew Bible Academy of Works, so I can vouch for it. I've been in multiple times.
Thank you, my brother. What say you based on the topic tonight?
Kings make queens, and it's hard for sisters to understand that when you're not a man. It's interesting for me, living in my life, men move in silence. Great men. They'll gain an understanding, and they won't necessarily let the woman know all the secrets on the table. But they'll let you know, like, I'm really not rocking with you. I found out kings make queens, especially the easiest example to understand is if you want to take half of what I got in a divorce settlement, it's because I got it. If we reverse the roles, what am I really going to get half of? That's just how, non-emotional, that's just how the world works. Because if I'm going to gain any notoriety, I'm having to beat top tier men for financial gain. There's only enough money and resources to go around. So I have to beat the best men mentally And I need to be able to focus on that and not have to deal with no extra static.
Okay.
You let me do that, I can go get it and I can bring it on back to you. But they're not gonna give it to you. They're gonna look at you coming on the boardroom meeting and they're gonna be like, this is easy pickings, guys, you know. We can take her investment, we can take all the finances and blank and blank. That's not emotional, that's just how it goes. So I understood in life growing up as a kid, my grandfather used to tell me, son, you don't have choices, you have outcomes. You make a decision and that's just what it's gonna go because that's how the world moves. Kings do make queens because men have the status, gain the notoriety, have to build the castle, and then let you come in it. Sisters will always say, you know, we date, you know, my homeboy's like, man, how's she look? You know, the sister's like, man, what do he got? What do he do?
Yeah.
So, in that understanding, that the subconscious is already examining the realm of what you're able to bring forth to the table. If that's the case, they're really looking to stretch that limit to make sure that man can bring that to the table. I truly believe that. It's hard to stomach it when someone can incentivize you against that option. It almost looks like it's a guarantee, but you're still having to get that guarantee from another man. It's just not the man you want, but it's a government system represented by men to give you an incentive. So you can have the illusion that you're not submitting to an immediate flesh that you can identify, but subconsciously you still submit to something that is a man. And so that's what I used to, me and my wife, we talk about is, I think the most beautiful thing that it comes to a woman is a woman with discernment. She's no dummy. You know, she could come in an environment, girls in high school could be dressed in half dressed, but she knows I can make this man approach me with respect, with modest apparel. I've watched it. I've had homeboys playing on my college basketball team approach women the wrong way, dressed a certain way, which is wrong. And I watched the same guys approach a woman a certain way, dressed correctly, the right way. She can demand respect.
Well, you know what? That's a good thing that you're saying there, and let's put it out there because probably a lot of people out there, we got people in the church and people who don't deal with the Bible at all that we know they look at these broadcasts, right? Out there, just tell the truth as a young man, right? The reality is there's women out there based on their appearance that men will only see them for one thing, but never a wife. So I'm going to ask you this. What is it that you see in a woman that you would know, okay, this woman isn't queen material. This woman isn't wife material. What immediately you notice that I'm talking about before you were married? I don't want to get your wife, you know, turned up over there. Before you was married, because like you said, men move in silence. But we know right out when we are in the presence of a wife or something else. And a lot of women, some women don't understand it. They think because they are approached and that they get a lot of attention, that eventually, if the more attention she get, the more choices she would have to get a husband. And I think that confuses them.
Here's a secret. I'll kill the bro code. I'm gonna spill a secret for sisters that you might not want to do this because this is how men just think. If you're on a first date and you're invested in a girl, you're out meeting her and you're having a nice dinner, you might not want to say, don't be expecting nothing at the end of the night. Because what I automatically assume is you've been there before. And so if you've been there before,
okay.
Now you gave someone else the full benefits package, and now you're looking to be born again with me, and sadly, that might not be the best investment for me right now. You have to learn to supplant. Even if you're repenting, you might want to be able to hold those cards a lot closer to you and not say certain things that may alarm your necessary, standpoint. And so I would say, sisters, looking to repent, play it close, keep it close. Because if you're looking to get what you want, like I got a daughter. My daughter, I'm going to teach her the cheat code. You want to get high? You ain't even got to worry about the working. Keep modesty, keep discernment, keep women, femininity. He will spot you a mile away at the top. Man, she carries herself a certain way. He'll be a lawyer, whatever, and she jumped the line. Because women are born with their value. Men have to gain it. She got to keep it. I got to earn it. So if I had to earn it and I'm up here, I could spot if you ain't kept it. Because I did a lot more to get mine than what you had to do to get yours.
Yeah, she was born with hers. And
she just had to focus on not messing up.
That's a great point. And I don't think women understand that dynamic. Like they were born with the privilege, but it based on their aesthetics. So they have to learn not to mess it up for themselves because there's already an advantage. You got the looks. So now how do you parlay that into someone who would actually respect and or honor what the Most High blessed you with? Right?
It's because they deal with the feeble average man while aiming for top tier man. Top tier man has more options. So because he has more options, he moves like he has more options.
Well, let me ask you this question, young man.
Yeah.
There's women all together, right? That you would see her and say, you know what? Even if she looked nice, okay, I'm not going to give her my time.
Half dressed.
And what is it from the outside immediately that would make you say, because usually people, what make you say, you being a young man, right? That would make you say right off the top, thank you, but no thank you. I'm just going to walk by this woman. Even though she's attractive, that's not enough. What is it that would immediately be the red flag to say, you know what? Nah, I can't do this.
She's half dressed.
Half dressed.
If she's not dressed in modest apparel, it's a hypocrisy because in the conversation, she's gonna ask me to focus on her mental. But she created the distraction. So it doesn't make sense because you want me to give you something that you're not giving yourself. You tried it on, you looked in the mirror, and you walked out the house. For me, this don't make no sense. What you expect? Why you getting this close? What you doing this for? And I'm sitting, I'm like, but you dress like a police officer and I'm looking for help.
Let me tell you,
So,
brother, you just took the words the thought right out of my mind. Because the reality is this, right? In honesty, being that little girl who always sought to be taken care of and to be cherished for who she is. She'll dress like that, right? But she'll expect you to treat her like a modest virgin and would feel insulted if you seen her any different than that. But
she did.
But this is what you're presenting. So it's mixed signals. In your mind, you want to be treated as this modest, respectful woman, but it's not coming off with your appearance.
You want to jump the line with the attention, but you want the respect as if you work to get there.
Oh my goodness, young man. I see you got those books behind you.
Hey.
How old are you, young man? How old are you?
I'm 34.
Man, what type of work you do?
I own a business. I own an HVAC company.
Look at that. Oh,
yeah,
praise. Look, boy, Israel is getting it in, ain't they?
Hey, I'm trying. I'm trying. We gotta have a safe haven somewhere. I got high goals. You know, my goal is to be part of the 1/3. You gotta have a Navy SEAL mindset for that. Can't be dabbling in the mire, in the mud. You gotta be preparing now. So,
my brother,
you know.
my brother. Well, listen, man, I need you to reach out to me, man, and send me an email. A matter of fact, let me mute this. I just wanted to make sure I get his information real quick down. I'm gonna call you soon, brother. So what do you think about? There's a lesbian running around, this man hater calling herself the queen maker. What's going on with what's going on with our sisters thinking that they can take advice from lesbians?
How do you not have the idea of extending legacy, but you a queen? Queen extend legacy, but you ain't never gonna have no kids.
Well, I think she has a kid by a man that she was married to in the military when I did her research. But, you know, then she started switching.
But that didn't help nothing because look at her state now. Yeah. The son didn't, the child she got now didn't contrite the heart enough to change the mind.
Well, I think she has a little girl. Can you imagine what's going to happen with that daughter?
It's sad. I know you see it. Mothers raising their child in their sin.
Lord have mercy.
So the mother feels more comfortable because now the daughter's undressing, or the daughter got weave at a young age, or the daughter hair falling out, and the daughter don't stand a chance because the mom can't get past a certain level. Here's something interesting. I was watching a football game with my wife because there's a mantra that women are more mature than men. And I said, sweetheart, look at that 16-year-old boy getting chewed out on national television as a quarterback. Gotta still go out and produce and keep some level of sanity. But I gotta return home and you tell me watch my tone. But at 16, he can handle something you can't handle. And in the interview, if he lost, coach was right. I gotta perform better. I gotta do better. And, you know, I focus on not how he's saying it, but what he's saying. You go on the other side, you got to dress it up. You might have to bend the corner, you know, a little bit to get that accountability, even peak that, because you can get probably to an 8-year-old boy like that. Because that's just what the world does for men. And I noticed that, you know, you beating the dead horse with the lessons because the comments, if it's easy, you just have a whole bunch of thumbs up, elder thumbs up, elder thumbs up, elder thumbs up. But you're still getting pushback with the easiness how it is to understand what the world is pushing. And so with men, if I have a men conference, men will sit there because they're used to taking the accountability. Yeah, man. Yeah, I got to provide. I got to get up off the couch, man. You know, I ain't doing it right. With a sister, she's justifying. She's representing, you know, like a judge, and you got a DA, and you got a prosecutor who representing the enemy. They're representing their detriment.
Yeah.
You need to understand where I came from. I came from nothing. I came from nothing. I understand playing a victim, it don't get you nowhere. Hey, I'll tell you, all the power is in the accountability. It's all my fault. You know, if I get out of a bad relationship, I picked her. I ain't no business picking her. I knew better. I should have scoped better. So I'm gonna scope better. It ain't her fault.
All right. Well,
if God can't fix it, I can't fix it.
Well, this is what we're gonna do, Delonte. I was thinking about it, and something is coming to my mind. I'm gonna definitely get with Bishop Shamal and some young brothers from New York and others from Philadelphia, and we're gonna put together a panel. And we're going to have some of these discussions, because what's really is going on, you know why you got these other women in the gap that's not qualified to guide these women? You know why they're there and able to make all this money by hustling, even though they're not qualified? It's because these women really want some insight from men, but are too proud to say it. They don't want to let people know around them. I really want to hear what men think about us and what I got to do to be better, because at the end of the day, a man is going to have to choose me. So I know a lot of women listen to these broadcasts who aren't in the church and others, but they hear for some direction, and not to be criticized or to be put down, but to hear a perspective of how a king goes about choosing a queen. So that women will now know, okay, without me being put down, these are the things I have to do to measure up to God and a man, so that now I put myself in a position that stands out. Because all the women right now are in one big cluster together, and they don't stand out. So if we have these conversations, I'm gonna talk to Shamal. We're gonna have some young panels and all that, and by doing so, women will understand. Well, okay. This is how, without even telling women anything, this is how I move myself away from the rest, so that I can get what I know I deserve in this life as a woman. So we're going to have that panel, and I want to have it with you young men.
A man, what I did, my uncle Brandon, he was a chief of staff for Congressman Kelly, who was in D.C. You know, I picked the bones out of that, but he's still a man of that echelon. And when I spoke with him on how to find a woman, he said, make sure she had a 2-parent household and she loves her father. Well, and I said, why is that? He said, because when you're going to get in a relationship, you don't want her having to learn how to be a wife for the first time with you, because that learning curve is going to be hard. She needs to already understand that coming in. So, you know, for the older generation, it's on really kind of instilling the daughter to really be closer to her father, so he can teach her all those ways. But for the generation that hasn't done that, still looking to do that, it's about learning how to supplant and kind of keep your tongue, hold your cards close to the table, and show humility and representation. You want to learn how to submit? All you got to do is look at the black man. We've been quiet, I don't know for how long, why they done ran in the ground for like 25 years. You said ain't no good man. You done raised all of them. So.
Okay, hold it, but I'm going to be reaching out to you. We're going to have a panel. Don't let it all out now. Thank you. Thank you, young man. And I know your parents are proud of your brother. You're a good man, and I'm proud of what you're doing. Hey, let's build the kingdom, young man. Bless you.
Absolutely. We're working on my mom 12 years. She just joined the San Antonio body. So
all praises. Look at that. You're working.
So hey, my mantra, I'm trying to be righteous. I ain't trying to be right.
Okay, my brother. Well, hey, I'll be calling you up.
All praises. Love you much.
Man, I love you too, my brother. That's what it is. Warriors. All right, hold tight. Let yourself out. I got one more person coming in before we conclude for the night. You can let yourself out, young man.
Yes,
all right. Thank you. And hey, that was longer than I thought I would be on, but I can let in one more person before we conclude. We can wrap up this particular broadcast. Wise young man, and he's in those books learning, and hey, yeah, if you would like to know where the Dallas body is, just send an email to GOCCSouth@yahoo.com, GOCCSouth, SOUTH, @yahoo.com, and we'll make sure someone get in contact with you to congregate with the body, okay?
And if I can mention as well, when you send it, make sure you send your contact details as well.
The contact details. Make sure you include your contact details included, all right? All right, last Zoom for tonight, TC's iPhone. TC, can you turn the light on there?
Oh, there's no camera. Is that okay?
All right.
That's be okay.
You have a cell phone with no camera?
Yeah, I just don't want to divulge myself on camera.
Well, you don't.
I saw that.
No, listen to me, TC. I will not put you on YouTube, but I need to see who I'm talking to.
Oh, it's TC. It's brother TC.
No, I ain't talking about your name. I'm talking about, you see me? I want to see you.
Okay. Well, I can call back in another time. It's all good.
Okay.
But you did a good. It was a good broadcast. Good broadcast.
Okay, I'll tell you what. You're in. Go ahead and say what you got to say.
Okay. Well, I think kind of invoke the inner righteous Kevin Samuels. I think a lot of statistics that have been told to black men, I think a lot of black men for the longest, we really didn't understand our value, right? We might make over $120,000 a year, morally sound. Over 51% of us are unmarried, don't have children. Of that 51%, 54% are in the upper to middle class. And I think it was always where we were always trying to succumb to the woman. And it was kind of like things were backwards. You know, we wanted to make the woman happy. It wasn't enough that we could do. We had to be chivalrous. And I think a lot of us did not realize what our value was.
But
I think Kevin...
But what I'm saying is, I don't believe anything is wrong with chivalry. I don't believe nothing is wrong with that as long as it's respected and reciprocated. So we were supposed to be chivalrous. There was women coming up who honored and respected men where chivalry was due to them. So I don't think it was nothing wrong. I think a man should be chivalrous to a woman who deserves it. But go on.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think the gratitude is something that's been missing.
Yeah.
That has been omitted, right? There's so many variables that, unfortunately, in this new day and age in which we live, where there's so many boxes that us as men, particularly black men, that we have to tick. But there's only about 4 boxes that we want for a woman to tick. One is gratitude. One is serenity, peace. A lot of, unfortunately, women in general will mention, I need a strong black man that can handle me. I think this has been said in the airwaves. Why would we want to go out, have to conquer the world, and come home and also have to handle our significant other or our wife, right? So I really think it's a thing where just us as black men we really did not understand what our true value is. Those who are first shall be last, and those who are last shall be first.
I'll tell you what, brother. I'm gonna tell you what, man. This is a new breed of men, this generation. I don't think the Most High for them. Something is happening.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I'm gonna tell you, men aren't participating with the bull anymore, with the crap anymore. And let me tell you, there's some things going out there. Women are going to places, and men aren't there. Something is changing. And I believe that women understand, okay, it's time for us to shift now, because what men used to put up with, it's not like that anymore. Men are understanding their value and saying, well, listen, I'm taking a risk with every relationship I deal in. It can be a trap. So men are being more strategic, and they're actually choosing their relationships or their time accordingly, understanding that it could be a trap. So men used to be just jump 2 feet in without dealing with the risk. Now, men used to be risk, now they're becoming risk averse. They like, well, listen, I know that if I do this based on what I've been seeing, here's where the courts come in. This is where the accusations come in. This is where I lose what I've built come in. And because they're valuing what they have now, they're just not giving it to anyone. And I believe that women are actually realizing that now. And they're getting the bare minimum until a woman can prove she's worth the risk. So, brother, that's what I'm seeing now. Believe it or not, and I know there's too much pride out there for women to admit this, but the roles have switched. They're starting to find out that there's more women for men to choose from that a man can actually shape into his woman or queen. There's more of them than more men that's in position to provide and protect.
100%.
And if that's and that's the case, if something is rare, it makes it more valuable.
Exactly.
So it's a numbers game, and it doesn't matter what people feel. That's just what it is. It's a numbers game. If there's more women to choose from who are already pretty, and less men to choose from that women want to be with.
Right.
Right? The numbers bear out that what? What's rare is more valuable. Or
and do you know?
Yeah,
do you know, Elder?
and men of means are just saying, well, listen, I don't have to deal with this because, hey, I got there's choices. And women are starting to realize it's going to take more than pretty to get them what they want, which is a husband. It's going to take more than that. And hopefully that shift has come where things are leveling out, where women are going to realize, okay, what I used to do no longer works. And now I have to try something different. And hopefully what they try is of the Most High. They got to try something our community isn't used to. Submission and trust. Forgiveness. And they're going to have to, when they cleave to a man, the man is more important than anything in your life. That man is more important than your children. That man is more important than your family. That man is number one.
Right.
Above everything. And if a woman don't understand that, because why? The provider hedges everyone. Everyone under the hedge is benefiting from that man's protection and hedge. The wife, the children, and everything. So in order to keep that hedge over there, you have to make sure the roof isn't leaking. The roof is the man. Everybody else everyone else is going to be taken care of anyway. So women got to recalibrate their brain to understand, regardless of everything, your family, your friends, your man is number one. And it's not saying that you don't care about everyone else. You must prioritize your man above everything and everyone on earth.
Right.
I'll let you get the last word before we end it.
Well, I was gonna ask why do you think submission?
Hold on. Let me say this. And that's not my opinion. That's the word of God. That's the word of God. That's not my opinion, what I just stated. Or my children, your children too. Everything must come a close second to you taking care of who take care of everyone else. Go on. You can ask the question now.
No, yeah. Well, I'll ask, why do you think submission seems to be such a difficult feat for women in this current generation to exercise towards men?
The reason why is because of the curse from the beginning. That's the reason why. And the whole thing is the Bible says don't give women liberty. And they have made liberty the new law. So this is everything society would have become, that God said, that the Most High said it would become, if you give women liberty to exercise their attributes for the world. So now that's just the way it is. The Bible says if you allow a young virgin to go out, she'll abuse herself through what? Over much liberty. So that's why. And you can't put the cat back. You can't put the cat back in the bag after that. Her eyes have been opened, and she have experienced something that made her feel good in being this new being, and it's hard to bring her back to that young woman of purity and innocence. And when what the world don't understand, that's different for a man than it is for a woman.
Right.
When a woman exposes herself, it changes her and it metamorphoses her into something different altogether. She becomes someone else after those experiences. And that's why the Most High said you should have a man, and he groomed you into what? To being groomed into being fit for him. Right? And by doing so, those experiences doesn't change this person into a different being altogether. Women weren't meant to be for the world. They can't. It doesn't pan out long term for them, and it totally destroys them psychologically. And we're going to be talking about that. And so that's why, because liberty isn't something that should have ever been given to any woman. That's why. The reason why,
like, you went into the Book of Esther and dealing with Queen Vashti and Esther is Queen Vashti did not commit adultery. She just was disrespectful to her husband, who was the king. And so he put her away for that very reason. And that's one of the questions that I get asked a lot by men that are somewhat underneath my tutelage and a bit younger than me. They say, man, my wife hasn't broken any of the commandments in association with the marriageable laws and the scriptures, but my wife don't respect me, T. What should I do about that?
All right. So everything ain't for everybody. Okay. And I got to break this down in a moment because I got to go. But the whole thing is everything ain't for everybody. Everyone isn't King Ahasuerus. Okay. So we're not going to give people a license to just get out of their relationship, right? Because they're having issues. The whole deal is this. What man is with a woman that disrespects him? He don't have to be disrespected. I'm going to tell you why. Okay, if she's operate out of order or whatever, he doesn't have to take that in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going. I'm going to maneuver around you. See, it only affects you if you're taking it in, if you're dealing with it. And I'm going to maneuver around it, and you're going to find yourself being disrespectful to yourself because it has no effect. All right? So that's the whole deal. That. If a man stand in his power and not get lowered to some level of disrespect under them, eventually she's going to have to raise her game. That doesn't work. Now she got to raise to where you are. And that's what a leader does. You don't now just break everything off because, she's disrespecting you or you deem that's disrespect. But women just don't act out for no reason either. And see, what we're not going to do is to say that every time a woman feels a certain type of way, it's her fault. Men can't absolve himself because a woman just don't wake up, the majority of the time. A woman just don't wake up feeling a certain type of way. Okay? There's a cause and effect. Now, if the man isn't doing something right according to that woman, she has the right to be upset, and he can't claim that's disrespect. So it's a two-way street here. So we're going to have some of those conversations, all right, in the future. But thank you. But no, we're not We're not supposed to just think about just running out the door every time there's a disagreement or feel we're disrespected. No one can build like that. And I'm going to tell you, and guess what? I'm going to tell you, and that's failure in of itself. And I'm going to tell you, that's how much less we care about our people than things. The example I can give you, if you're building something or you're accomplishing something, you're going to run into obstacles, and you're going to find a way to do what? Overcome that obstacle to finish the product, and that's to finish the project, excuse me. And that's what dealing with just things. So we don't give up when we have an idea on how to fix something or how to do something outside of our relationships, but aren't willing to put that same care into people. Let me tell you, brother, here's the reality of it. In captivity, we were all broken. Okay, she was broken and the man was broken. The reality of the matter is, right now, the Most High, through the word of God and through the truth, he has begun to break the Willie Lynch curse. And now we're working it out together before getting out of here. That's just the reality. And it's not to blame one side or the other. But we're here to make things crystal clear. We're not going to acknowledge women in the future as queens who doesn't have a king. That's crazy world.
Right.
Only in La La Land, queens are made by themselves. So what we're doing is, guess what? That's why we're able to now, for the last 4 years, adjust and to accept all these different pronouns of people identifying themselves as anything they want it to be. Because even amongst our people, there's we have an identity crisis where we just name ourselves something that doesn't fit the definition according to the dictionary. So we have to stop playing into this delusion. Men cannot be women. Women cannot be men. Kings are kings. Kings make queens. There is no queens without kings. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon. Shalom.
All right, now.
All right. Thank you, Elder Lawya. And I see people are lining up for this particular topic. So I apologize for those who's waiting in queue for Zoom, but unfortunately, time is up. We can pick this up this coming Friday on Patreon, and I'll open up the Zoom if you wanted to continue this. I'll be more than happy to have that discussion. With that, we're going to be having these discussions, not so to blame one another, but to put things in its proper order according to the heavens. Why? Eventually, heaven up there is coming here. Thou shalt be done on earth, in earth, as it is in heaven. So at best, we have to get ourselves fit for the God who made us all, man and woman, in our proper order. With that, shalom. Thank you, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You have a good night. May the Most High be with you all. Stay prayed up. Sin not. I'll see you this weekend in our Hebrew and Bible Academy. And yes, we are the children of Israel. And we're back. Have a great night. HistoryTimes.org.
The Arabs and Africans told us, together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. Elder Rawchaa in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, is gathering Israel, the Negroes, Benjamin the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, is gathering Israel. Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be, Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. Our highest gathering is right.